All right, folks, here's a question. When you think of Britain's economic disasters, what comes to mind? Would it be the IMF bailout of 1976, the winter of discontent, maybe Black Wednesday in 92? Well, brace yourselves. Because today's economic crisis isn't just as bad as those moments. According to leading economists, it's worse. Back in 76, Labour's Denis Healey swallowed his pride and begged the IMF for a $3.9 billion bailout. Embarrassing, absolutely, but it worked. Britain stabilised, growth returned, and the country actually entered a brief economic boom before Thatcher's rise. Today, no IMF cavalry is coming. Britain isn't short of cash reserves. It's short of something far more dangerous. Productivity, innovation and political courage. And that means what's happening now isn't a short, sharp crisis. It's a long, grinding collapse. A doom loop of high debt, low growth and political cowardice. Stick around because tonight we're pulling back the curtain on why the UK's debt problem today is structurally worse than the 70s, how Europe's major economies are all sliding into the same trap, and why the political class has no plan, just higher taxes and empty slogans. By the end of this, you'll see why the real danger isn't a sudden crash. It's slow motion decay. Picture it, the UK in 1976, inflation was rampant, the pound was collapsing, and Britain was running out of foreign currency to pay for imports. The IMF bailout was humiliating, but at least the problem was clear. Fix the balance of payments, cut spending, raise taxes, take the medicine. And there was an escape route. North Sea oil revenues. Britain had a lifeline that eventually paid off the IMF loan and gave Thatcher room to reform. Fast forward to today, debt to GDP is 95.6% and rising. Productivity growth has flatlined since 2008 and there's no miracle oil money coming. Instead, we're stuck with a bloated public sector, declining competitiveness and governments that only know how to raise taxes. This isn't a temporary shock. This is structural rot. And unlike Healey in 76, Starmer and his team can't just tighten belts and call the IMF. Here's the real villain. Britain's economy has morphed into a rentier society. Instead of rewarding innovation and entrepreneurship, we've built a system where wealth flows to property owners, financial services, and anyone who knows how to play the tax code. This shift began in the mid-80s and accelerated after 2008 when productivity collapsed. Today, the UK is rich on paper, but hollow inside. GDP growth figures mask the fact that growth per hour worked is near zero. Does that sound familiar? Well, Italy's been stuck in that trap for decades, and now we've joined the club. In the 70s, Healey could push through austerity because government still held political authority to take tough decisions. Now, forget it. Starmer has a large majority, but not enough courage to reform welfare, pensions or runaway spending. Instead, we're promised more taxes this autumn, including on expats and property, driving investment out of the country. The Tories before him spent like drunken sailors during the pandemic, believing low interest rates would last forever. The result, a political class addicted to spending and terrified of reform. France is in the same boat. François Bayrou is begging Parliament to back austerity, and he's likely to lose. Germany's welfare spending is exploding too. Europe is locked in political deadlock while debt piles up. So here's how the doom loop works. Productivity stagnates. Debt climbs as governments borrow to paper over the cracks. Higher debt means higher interest costs. To cover that, governments raise taxes, which kills growth further. Rinse and repeat. This isn't my theory. Countries with debt above 90% of GDP consistently suffer slower growth. High debt strangles economies. We're not in a 70s-style currency crisis, folks. We're in something worse. A slow, grinding debt spiral. And this isn't just Britain. France's debt to GDP, 113%. Bairou's austerity plan is dead on arrival. Germany. Lower debt, but a welfare system piling up massive future liabilities. Spain. Looks like a growth miracle, but only because of mass immigration. Italy. Decades of stagnation show us where this road leads. Even the US is now at 124% debt to GDP. Its growth masks deeper problems. And if Trump's massive tax and tariff plan passes, America could join Europe's club of stagnation. So what's the plan? Oh, that's right, there isn't one. In the 70s, Britain's salvation was North Sea oil. We had real, tangible assets to dig us out of debt. Today, we have net zero. Billions sunk into subsidies, restrictions and green schemes that strangle industry while outsourcing emissions to other countries. Instead of investing in energy security or innovation, Britain's leaders are obsessed with world-leading climate targets, even as our economy crumbles. Let's be honest, net zero is an economic suicide pact. Starmer's coming tax hikes won't just hit Brits. They're aimed squarely at expats and foreign investors. After Brexit, London stayed attractive to global talent because it was still business-friendly. That's evaporating. Capital is fleeing and skilled workers are leaving. In the 70s, Britain was British-owned. Now our economy is built on foreign capital. If that confidence cracks, we won't just face austerity. We'll face a bond market revolt. Here's what this road looks like if nothing changes. Permanent stagnation, growth near zero for decades, sky-high taxes to feed the debt beast, a hollowed-out middle class, talent drain as entrepreneurs and expats leave, public services crumbling under debt interest costs. There are three exits from a debt spiral. Austerity, politically impossible growth, requires radical innovation and reform. No one's brave enough. Default. No one wants to admit it, but this is where Europe is heading. Some dream of inflation solving the problem, but that just drives up interest rates and digs the hole deeper. This isn't about left versus right. It's not about Brexit versus Remain. It's about a Western model that's broken. The UK is just the canary in the coal mine. We are watching the slow-motion unravelling of a system built on cheap credit, mass spending and political cowardice. And unless Britain wakes up, abandons net zero obsession, cuts waste, reforms welfare and rewards innovation, we're heading for a future that makes 1976 look like a picnic. So, there you have it. No IMF bailout, no oil bonanza, no easy way out. Just a slow collapse and a political class still pretending everything's fine. If you're tired of the spin, hit that like button, subscribe and share this video. We need more people talking about real numbers, not sound bites. And tell me in the comments, do you think Britain has the courage to reform? Or are we doomed to become Europe's next Italy? Thanks for watching TruthCast UK. Stay sharp, stay informed, and I'll see you all on the next one.